my name is Kamryn Setzer. I'm 23, and this past December 1st, I was in a car accident with my best friend, and she passed, and I lost my hand because of it. But I don't know. Today, I'm just gonna explain what happened.
Tell your story.
Yeah. So basically, we met like, I would say, I think it was like late 2021. We were with her actually at a car show, and she knew her and my friend Logan sitting over there. But we just all started hanging out as a group and got to know each other and just came like closer over time. And we kind of bonded over like music, and we decided to like go to like a bunch of concerts like coming up. And we ended up like over time, over like literally a year, going to like 9 different concerts together. And it was so crazy, but it was like, it was fun.
Was it the same kind of music or like all different kinds?
I would say like it's all like the same kind of music.
What kind of music did you guys like?
It was very much like the TikTok people that got famous, like Jaden Hossler.
Okay.
And like Nessa. So we saw like him a bunch of times, and then we became obsessed with like their opener for the tour. And I feel like it's just, we like traveled so much. We like went to Arizona for a show. We went to Arizona like a few times actually, and that's where her family's from.
Okay.
So we, from traveling there a bunch of times and like going to all these shows together, we just like became inseparable. We hung out like every day, and we decided eventually, we were like, let's move there. So,
to Arizona?
Yeah.
Okay. You and Logan?
No,
just
me
you
and my friend that passed.
Okay, got it.
So we decided to do that. We were like, let's just do it.
Okay.
Like, whatever. Her family lives there. Like, we were like, we have people. Like, we wouldn't be alone. It would be fun. And it happened to be like her lease on her apartment was ending in December. So we were like, let's just do it then. Like, whatever. So we decided the first day of December was the first. It was like, it started on a weekend. So we were like, that Friday, let's start driving, and we'll just take the whole weekend to drive our stuff from PA, where we live, to Arizona.
Okay.
It's like, I think like a 30-hour drive, something crazy.
Wow. And what was she in PA for?
So her family like used to live here.
Okay.
They've lived like between PA and Arizona like a few times in their life. So when they moved back to Arizona, I think in like 2020, she decided to stay here.
Okay.
Because she was in a relationship at the time, in school.
Okay.
She didn't want to like leave her school and everything. So she stayed here, like went to college, and I'm kind of glad that she stayed, honestly, because else I would have never met her. But so she stayed, and she just wanted to like be home with her family. And I was like, I'll go to Arizona. Like,
and were you nervous at all? Just like pick
I
up
was
and
definitely very scared. Like, I've only ever lived in Pennsylvania like my whole life. So it was very like scary for me. I so nervous, and like I've only ever lived with like my parents. So
what did your parents say? Were they like, good for you to do it?
They were obviously like very sad, but at first they were like, do it, like you have to. Like they had me at a very young age, so they were like, okay, like you have to, like at your age already, like we had you, like me and my brother.
Right, like go live your life.
So they were like, if I had that opportunity, like I would have definitely done it. So like, go do it.
Oh, that's awesome. Yeah. That's good. We love supportive parents.
Yeah, they were actually very like, go do it. Like, yes, we'll miss you, but we'll like be here. Like, you can come visit. We'll come see you. Like, so it was sweet, but I was still like shaking in my boots every day. I was like,
you don't know
oh
what
my
to expect.
gosh.
It's, like, it's literally like starting over.
Yeah. And I was like, never had to like pack things by myself. Like, it was just like so many things that I was like, I'm going to have to do this all by myself. I was like scared, but I knew she already lived on her own at that point. So, and she was like a year younger than me. So I was like, if you can do it, like I got you, like you'll help me, like we got this. So we packed all our things into both of our cars, and we shipped a few things out, and we decided to move there. We were gonna like, she went to school for kitchen and bath design, so she was gonna do that, and we both used to like waitress at restaurants, so we were gonna do that. I have my aesthetics license,
Okay.
so I was gonna try to work at like a spa somewhere down there. But her family has like their own business where they like make custom anything that you could think of.
That's cool.
So we were gonna like make our own like cute little shirts and just like sell them and stuff. And we thought that would be fun, like
Yeah, creative.
just like those like cute little Target crop tops that are like $5. Just like throw stupid sayings on them and like sell them. And we were like, that would be cute. So we had like plans, definitely, like, and we like after once we got settled, definitely wanted to like get on our own feet and get our own place. But
so you guys were going to live with her parents when you
Yeah.
first got down there. Okay,
Yeah.
got it.
they had like an extra bedroom.
Okay.
So we were like, let's just do it.
Yeah, why not?
And we left on the 1st, and we made it probably, I think it's like 6-7 hours in. We got to Columbus, Ohio, and that's where like the accident happened.
Were you guys in the same car? You were driving
Yeah.
separate? Okay.
We were in my car, just us two, and her cats were behind us, in like a cat carrier. And then in her car in front of us was her brother and his friend.
Okay.
So
they were just driving
they were
down.
like leading the way in her car, and we were kind of like following.
Got it. And that was just basically so you guys could both
Yeah.
have your cars down there.
Yeah.
Okay.
But yeah, it was kind of like, I would describe the day as like very gloomy. It was a gloomy day. It was like raining all day. It was so gross, like foggy out. December, it's cold. I was like not feeling the best, obviously, because I didn't want to leave everybody, but I was like, it's just so gross out. Like, I don't want to sit in the car and like road trip in this. Like, I was starting to get like definitely scared and like nervous, but
Right. It's like, you get a very different vibe when it's like sun is shining, you're going, and then if it's just like raining or cold or dark, you're like, I want to be in bed.
Yeah, super like, I don't want to leave. Like, I'm so sad, like blah, blah, blah. And the weather was like not helping at all.
Did you feel anxious at all?
Yeah.
Okay.
I was like super shaky all day long. Like, oh my gosh, I'm going to throw up. Like, this is so scary. And so we finally we got on the road. We made like one pit stop for gas at this point. And it was like probably, I want to say we stopped for gas around like 7 or 8. And then
In the morning or at night?
at night.
Okay.
Because we were already like 5 hours in. And then later in the night, as we got closer and it got later, we were like, we should stop soon. Like, we really shouldn't be driving all night long. And at that point, it was like 9:30ish. And I sent a text in our group chat to like her brother. And I was like, we should probably stop soon. Like, I know I'm tired. Like, I don't know. Like, I know we just switched driving. Like, we just did like a stop for gas, and like she switched. So she was driving and I was the passenger at this point. And then like literally 30 minutes later is when it happened. It happened at 10 at night. We were on the highway in Ohio, and she honestly just like lost control of the car. Like, all of a sudden we were driving, and the next second we were like swerving all over the road. Like, I don't know. They really don't even know still what happened.
So when you sent the text in the group chat, did you guys all kind of decide collectively, like, okay, we're going to stop soon? Like, did you have a set time or not really?
We didn't really have like a set time, but we kind of just like decided like we'll think about it, like, and we'll stop like soonish.
Okay, so like we'll go
Yeah.
for a little longer
Yeah.
then. Okay, so just kind of like playing by ear.
We didn't really have like a plan. Like, we didn't have any like prepaid like hotels. Like, it wasn't like we had like stops along the way. We were kind of just gonna like go until we felt like stopping, and then
So you said that you were like driving, and then the next minute you were kind of swerving all over. Were you guys like mid conversation, or like, do you remember?
So I want to say like the officer that like talked to me, he said like we probably hydroplaned, and that's what happened. But I do think like we were talking before like everything. Like I remember everything completely after the accident, like when I like woke up and regained like consciousness, but like before it, it's kind of like
blurred.
Just because I don't know, like I don't really remember. I just remember it being like completely normal, and then
it wasn't.
It was just like complete chaos.
And then did the car in front of you, that was her brother and his friend, right?
Yeah, they didn't see us. Like they didn't see anything.
Were still ahead.
They were still ahead.
And okay.
But he said like he told me eventually like he knew immediately. Like the ones he didn't see us in his rear view, he like had like a bad feeling and he tried to call both of us. And both calls like went to voicemail, and he was like, yeah, like I knew something bad happened. So they did, like once we both didn't answer like multiple times, they did like a turnaround on the highway. And when they came back this way, he said like an ambulance was already there. So he was like, okay, like if something bad happens, like they're good. But I just remember like I woke up and I was like sitting in my seat like this because I was in the passenger seat, and I woke up and instantly like I had like a sweatshirt on, and I looked down and I was like missing part of my sleeve, and I like touched my arm and I like felt my like bone, and I like in that moment I like knew immediately. I was like, I don't have like there's nothing there anymore. And I like touched my face. I have like a scar on my face from it too. I like knew instantly like there's something bleeding from my face. Like,
did you feel
something's
any pain?
Wrong? No pain at this point. And then I kind of like realized like, okay, like, oh shit, like we got into a car accident. Like, let me get out of the car, like figure out what's going on.
Did you look over at her at all at this point or not?
I didn't. Okay. So what had happened was we lost control and eventually hit a guardrail.
Okay.
And instead of the guardrail, us like bouncing off of it or breaking away, it kind of came through. Like if this is my car, it came through like the center part of it, all the way to the back.
Like the whole guardrail went through the car.
Yeah. Like a sword, pretty much. So that is like what took my hand. Like my arm was out like this, and it just like instantly was gone.
Okay.
Like there was like nothing that could have been done about it. Like,
so it just completely like took your arm off, basically. Okay. But the guardrail wasn't still like in your arm?
No.
Right? Okay.
Like I wasn't attached to it.
Yeah.
Yeah. So I got out of the car and I like was kind of like leaning up against it. And once I was like leaning up against the car, that's when I like kind of was like, I'm in like a lot of pain. Like, I don't know what happened to me, but like, I was like, I'm gonna pass out. So I like laid down on the side of the highway, and there were like obviously cars like passing by, and like nobody was pulling over, and like nobody was.
So at this point, it's still just like you guys, and you're just standing outside of the car by yourself.
Yeah. So I'm like trying to like flag down other cars, like somebody pull over. Like I have no idea where my phone is. Like I don't have my glasses on my face. Like I can't see. Like
and you're probably so much more out of it too than like it feels in that moment.
I just remember feeling like so confused, like in the moment, like not thinking about anything, but just like, can someone help me? Like that was the only thing I was thinking. Like literally not about anything else, but just like, someone needs to help me right now.
Yeah.
And I remember I was just like laying on the side of the ground, just like someone needs to come like pull over right now. And like, I would say like 2 minutes later, like it was probably like 5 minutes collectively that I was waiting till the ambulance got there, but it felt like 30. Like it felt like an eternity that I was like sitting there waiting. Like,
and it doesn't help that it was dark out, because I feel like if you're just driving, especially on a highway, and you just see a car like stopped, if they like, I can imagine how like if you're not really looking, you wouldn't see what was happening. Whereas if it's light out, you can see that like obviously someone's outside of the car and like on the ground.
So they kind of like pulled up and they like rushed out of the ambulance immediately, and they
so
were
I
like,
wonder who somebody had to have called then,
yeah,
right?
I think it was her brother, actually.
Okay.
I think he like called for help like once we weren't answering. I don't know, honestly, who called for help or got. I'm just glad that they got there as quick as they did. Like, thankfully, where our accident happened, like in Ohio, it was like 5 minutes from the
exit
from their like trauma center.
Got it.
Like,
so it's pretty close.
So we were like very close to the hospital, which is like very like good. Like, I'm glad. Like, they said like if it would have been like any longer, like I probably would have lost like so much more blood, like all these other things. So I'm very grateful for that. But
so at this point you're laying down?
So at this point I'm laying down on the ground, and they come over to me and they're just more so like confused how I got out of the car, and like I'm laying down on the ground, and I was just like, please, like get me up, like I don't want to be laying on the ground anymore. So they like put me on the stretcher, like get me up. They put me in the ambulance, and I kind of asked them, like I looked at them immediately, like they're asking me all these questions, and I was just like, is my hand there? Like, is my arm there? And they were like, no. And at that point I just like, that's when I like fully like realized like, all right, like it's never gonna be there, it's never gonna be a thing again. Like I only have one hand now. So I feel like it took me like not long to kind of like register in my brain, like, okay, this is how life is going to be now. But in that moment, I was honestly just focused on getting to the hospital. They were asking me like so many questions, and I was just ignoring them, honestly. Just like, can you call my mom? Can you get my mom? I just wanted like my mom or my dad or something. And I have their numbers memorized, thank God, because I gave it to them like instantly. I was like, please just call my mom. Just call somebody. And they brought me into the hospital, like into the emergency room. And
you're still conscious, like through all this? Okay.
They're asking me like all these questions, like my name, my age, birthday, like parents' phone numbers, where I live, what was happening, like what we were doing, how the accident happened. And at the time, I'm like, I have no idea. Like, I don't know the answer to any of these questions. And thankfully, like, I could give them like my name and stuff like that. But like at this point, I didn't remember. Like, nothing had like come back to me. Like, yeah, I just kind of was like, I literally just woke up. Like, what do you mean? Like, I just woke up and this happened. Like, I don't know how I got here. And after that, I kind of, once I was like in the ER and they like got my name and everything, I kind of don't remember anything until like I woke up in like my actual hospital bed. And at that point I was like all bandaged up, like in the bed. Like,
so up until this point, you still didn't know how your friend was doing, right? Okay.
They like, I kept asking them like in the ambulance ride, like, is my friend coming? Like, why is she not in here? Like, is she coming behind me? And they were like, yeah, she'll come behind you. She'll come behind you. Like, I didn't know till I woke up in my room and like her brother came to visit me. Like, nobody told me anything. They still were like, oh yeah, she's in a room. Like, she's being taken care of. Like, nobody like kind of told me anything until I saw him. And then he kind of told me like she passed away like instantly. Like, she didn't make it, like, and that was it. Like, but and at that time, obviously, like, I was very out of it and like on lots of medications and stuff, and I'd just woken up from like a surgery. Like, I'm like, what do you mean? Everyone said like she was coming. Like, what do you mean? And I was just like, I think I was so out of it. He said I asked him like 200 times, like, where is she? Where is she? Where is she? Because I just like, my brain would not register and I kept like forgetting it instantly. But I was at the hospital until like when I got there that night on the December 1st. I didn't leave until December 12th, so I was there like almost like a full 2 weeks. Just kind of becoming like a new normal, I guess.
So did you just have surgery on your arm, or did they have to do anything else?
I had a surgery on my arm. I had like 6 broken ribs up here, so they had to plate 3 of them because they were broken in like multiple spots. I had a chest tube at one point because there was like, they were worried about air in my lungs. I had to get like surgery on the scar on my face. So it was like at least like 4 different surgeries that I had while I was there. And then I recently in February had a surgery on my arm again. They kind of went in and like rerouted all the nerves to different muscles to kind of help with nerve pain that I've been having since the accident, because they keep all the nerves that are connected to your hand like inside of you.
Okay.
So they've kind of been like irritated.
Yeah.
As a way to like describe it. They just don't have anything to do, so they get angry and it results in pain.
Okay.
So now he kind of like attached them to different muscles so they have something to do.
Okay.
And I really don't experience any more
good
pain in my arm. So
when you woke up and then her brother told you.
Yeah.
And in what point, like in those 2 weeks, did you kind of start like realizing it? Like, I guess kind of like, because were you on like the medicines the whole time and kind of out of it the whole time? Today's episode is sponsored by Rocket Money. So recently, my newest thing that I've been trying really, really hard to do is to save extra money pretty much wherever I can. And after sorting through all of my credit card bills, something that I found that I am wasting so much money on is all of my subscriptions. There are literally so many subscriptions that I have forgotten about over the last few months, whether it was subscriptions on my phone, on my TV, photo subscriptions, video subscriptions, anything you can think of. I forget about them all the time because it is so easy to click purchase now in the moment when you need it for something, and then forget about it, not use it, or even pay for it twice. Over 74% of people have subscriptions that they have forgotten about, so it is more than likely that you are paying for some subscription that you're unaware of or that you purchased and you just haven't even thought about. Just to put it into perspective, people typically think they're paying around $62 a month in subscriptions, but in reality, after checking everything, like I did with all my credit card bills, it's actually usually closer to about $300, which is literally insane and adds up. And if you can get those prices cut down a little bit, you can really start saving some serious money, just like I started doing. The best part about Rocket Money is not only do they let you know about the subscriptions that you've forgotten about, but they also help you cancel it, so it just kills 2 birds with 1 stone. And like I said, I personally was looking for ways that I could save money, and I found that subscriptions was a big place I was wasting it. But honestly, not everybody has the time to sort through their accounts each month, and it can be really time consuming and honestly just a hassle. So that's another reason why Rocket Money is super beneficial, because they can monitor it all for you. Rocket Money is a personal finance app that finds and cancels your unwanted subscriptions, monitors your spending, and helps lower your bills so that you can grow your savings. It's extremely convenient because you're able to see all of your subscriptions in one place, and if you see something you don't want, Rocket Money can help you cancel it within a few taps. Rocket Money has over 5 million users and has saved a total of $500 million in canceled subscriptions, saving members up to $740 a year when using all of the app's features. Stop wasting money on things you don't use. Cancel your unwanted subscriptions by going to rocketmoney.com/allinsane. That's rocketmoney.com/allinsane. rocketmoney.com/allinsane. Now back to today's episode.
In the whole 2 weeks, my surgeries were obviously like spread out on different days. I had like rehab people coming to my room every day, like therapists, like all sorts of people like getting me to do different stuff to like move, like take my first steps again. Like it took me like a whole week to like fully get out of bed and step up and like stand for the first time. So like that was weird. Honestly, when I was in the hospital, I really, not that I thought about it every day, but it never like registered in my head like, okay, she's actually gone until like I came home.
Yeah.
So I was in the hospital for 2 weeks, and then I came home to where I live in Pennsylvania, and I stayed in like a inpatient rehab there for a week. When I came home from there, that's when I was like she's gone. Like she's not here anymore. Like that's when it like actually kind of hit me like I'll never, like all these things that I'd never get to do with her again or never get to experience with her again. When I was like in the hospital, I feel like it was more so just like, and still to this day, like very much just like a guilt, like I feel guilty that like I'm still here and she doesn't get to be, or like, I don't know. It's just, it's hard to explain, but it's very much just like, I feel bad.
Yeah. And there's,
that, like,
I think, and there's so many different emotions around it too. You know, it's like, I mean, like you guys like switched drivers. So it's like, there's that in your head. And then it's like, you knew that you guys were gonna, like you talked about stopping, but then you did like, it's like all these things of like, but like, what if we stopped sooner? What if we didn't change driver? Like, and I feel like when you play all that in your head, it's like a form of torture almost. And it gives you that feeling of guilt. But as much as like our brains like to do that, we can't do that. And I know that's so much easier said than done, but like it's what drives us insane. And it's like, I think that it makes it almost impossible to move forward and fully accept like the way things happen, even though they're so screwed up. Like if we keep kind of self-blaming or like thinking about the what ifs, because it's like, well, we can't do anything. And it's horrible and it's heartbreaking, you know, and it's honestly terrifying because it goes to show how you could have all these plans for things and how in just the matter of seconds, it's gone. Like taken from you.
Life is just insanely short and like very unfair.
Very fragile. Like, yeah, you don't even think about it.
It can change at any second. Like she had so many plans for her future and all these dreams and goals. And it's like, it's not fair that like now she doesn't get to do any of that.
Right.
But like there's nothing that anyone could do about it. But now everyone's just kind of I'm trying also to like think very positively about it and in a way that she would. And I know like she wouldn't want us all to be sad about it.
Like dwelling
all
on
the
it.
time. Like she'd want us to be happy and move forward and kind of like live our lives for like through her. That's kind of like what I've been doing. So
did they tell you in the accident, did they say what it was that killed her? Or
so it was the impact from the guardrail.
Okay.
So it
got both of you.
So we both got it. Like
Jeez.
it was like the impact from that like coming through.
Just
So, and the worst part about it is if it was just installed correctly and the like state of Ohio like had someone properly put it together or install it correctly, it would have never done that.
So it was definitely like a malfunction type of thing on that. Wow. Were you able to like, is there anything that can be done about that? Like as far as like
legally? Yeah. I'm trying.
Okay. I was going to say, I mean, not that fixes anything or brings anything back, but I mean, like it took someone's life. And
both her family and mine are working.
Okay, good. Yeah.
Unfortunately, it's a long process.
Oh, right. But, I'm sure. But like the thing is too, is like, it's a prevention method. Like it goes to show why it's so important.
Accidents still to this day keep happening in the same spot and people like still keep losing their lives. And it's like, it's not fair. Like, there's no reason why like that should happen ever.
Right. Like what's it there for if it's not? And then I think too, it was so hard on you because it's like you are going through that. Like you just lost someone that was like your close friend. And then on top of it, you're adjusting to this new way of living without having both of your hands.
It definitely like she was the person that I came to with like any problem. So then it was like losing that. And then it's like, I have this new thing that it's like so weird and such a different adjustment. Like there's so many things, like not that I can't do, but like I do so differently. And like there are some things that I still like can't do, like normal things, like put my hair up in a ponytail. Like I have no idea how to do that. And it's just like silly things that like you'd never think about, but like, and that I definitely took for granted before, but now it's like I wish I could put my hair up in a ponytail. Like I miss it so much. I'm like so over it.
So this happened, what year was it?
On this past December.
Oh, so this is like very fresh.
Yeah.
And so like, because I was going to ask you, like, as far as like your mental health has gone, how have you been like since everything has happened? Like, did you feel like you went through like waves and different periods of things?
I feel like it definitely goes through like waves. Yeah. Like I was in therapy after it, and then I was kind of not really liking my therapist, and I was like, I can do it without therapy. Like he hasn't been helping.
Yeah.
And I got it.
Right.
And then it was just very like a dark time for me. So I got back into therapy recently, and it's been helping a lot more. And
did you find a new therapist?
Yeah.
Good. Yeah.
I found a new therapist. I really like her, and it definitely is helping a lot, but it's definitely not something that like you can do on your own. Like thankfully my family is very like supportive, and I have a lot of friends that are very helpful and supportive, because if I didn't have that, like there's no way like I could do half of the things that like I've done or have been doing. So
I mean, just from an outside perspective looking in, like you seem like a very strong person, honestly. Like I feel like you hold yourself together very well. Especially with it being so recent. And obviously, like, that's not to say you don't have days that are harder than other days, you know? And I think everything in life is waves. And some people, you know, every human handles things differently. You know, everybody handles trauma differently, and it affects us all different. But all we can do is, like, do our best to help ourselves, you know? And I'm sure there's going to be times where you're just, like, so frustrated and so angry, and like you have those guilty feelings, and you have those like what you said of the feelings of like, well, like why doesn't she get to be here but I do? And I feel like that those things might never fully go away, but it's almost like you said, it's like that's when you have to turn back to the other side of the brain and be like, but what can I am here, so what can I do to like make the best of it and kind of live in her honor. And like, and I think, you know, by you, in my opinion, it says so much that like this soon after you're ready to come on a platform and like talk about it, like because you haven't had that much time to really process. It takes us a long time to like process trauma sometimes.
I'm like still not even technically fully healed from everything. So I do think, but I just know like I don't want this to have to happen to anyone else. So like me telling this like gets that to not happen to anyone else, or it gets them to maybe live their lives a little bit more and like know that life is short. Like making memories like with the people that you love like is worth it 100% all the time, always, because like even though she wasn't my best friend for 10 years, like the 2 years that we were best friends, like we did so much together, because it was just why not? Yeah. We just had that why not feeling, like whatever, just do it. And we'll never be this young again once. So it's like, just make those memories while you can. Like you never know when you like you'll not be able to, or you'll not get to. So it's like, don't try to like miss out on things. It's like another big thing like I've like learned too. And I do definitely still have like really bad or hard days and stuff, but I try to very much like think positively about it. And like it is like a good thing that like I'm still here, and like it's a great thing. And like I could have had so much worse happen to me. Like yes, it is horrible that like I lost my hand and I'll never have it back, but like I'm able to walk, I'm able to talk, like I'm able to drive, I can do like so many things that like so many other people that have been in like just as bad traumatic things like can't do. So like there are so many like positives and things and ways to like look at your life. Like, I don't know. Like, I just feel like when you're so much more grateful for everything, life gets a little better.
Yeah, and you have a different perspective. And I think too, like, that being said, there's so many different parts of like what you've been through that I feel like people could resonate with, like whether it's, you know, having something happen to them that kind of changes their life and changes the way that, you know, they can or cannot do things any longer, or if they've lost someone and they hold that feeling of guilt. It's like there's so many different parts of just this single experience in your life that I feel like just by sharing it, not like I always say, like, obviously it helps people not feel alone, but it's not just like one thing. It's not just because of like what happened. It's like the moving parts during and after that, like, I feel like you feel and you go through and you have to kind of work through mentally, that a lot of people could relate to in so many different ways, you know, and would appreciate you having such, like, I feel like you do have such a strong positive mindset around it, you know, and that's important. It's hard to have that. And I was going to ask you too, are you still in contact with her family?
Yeah.
Okay.
I do still talk to them.
Yeah.
Like I would say like definitely every other week. Like,
yeah, that's good.
Pretty often. They made like a clothing brand in honor of her, since like we
good.
wanted to do that. So like that's what I'm wearing today.
Oh, I love that.
'Cause like 444 was her thing. So this is like the 444 shirt. They have it on like a bunch of different things. There's so many different.
Yeah, you have like, to. Do they have links and stuff?
Yeah,
because we could put that in the description.
Yeah, I'll send you the link.
Yes, that's amazing.
So yeah, this is like my favorite shirt. We made it like inspired by one of our favorite like bands t-shirts. They gave us like the approval to make it. They were like, of course, honestly, do that. But so I talk to them often like about that and everything and stuff. I don't like, other than that, I just like go to like a lot of like doctor's appointments now and like working on like getting like prosthetics and stuff. It's been like a whole new world with that, because in like the amputee world, like 1 out of every 10 amputees is like an arm.
Okay.
The rest are like legs.
Yeah.
So it's very rare. Like every doctor I see is like, never seen this before, or like I've only met like 2 other patients like this. I'm like, okay. Like I'm part of like an amputee support group of like 30 people. I'm the only person with an arm.
Wow.
So it's sometimes hard. Like I feel like alone or lonely. I'm like, who can I even talk to? But I've met like people through like social media and things like that. And thankfully my support group is like sending me to a convention in like 2 weeks, so I'm hoping to meet like a lot more people there,
and that's important.
I think they will be fun,
right? And like having the support and feeling like you're not alone, even if it's new people that you meet, is one of the most important things that you can do. It's all about community, you know, and being able to have those outlets. Like if you're feeling a certain way, you know, you can have your best friends and your family, but sometimes it takes somebody that has directly experienced something similar to really make you feel heard and understood and like, you know, they get it. And then you said that you're having the nerve pain, right?
Yeah.
So then they just recently did a surgery and that helped so far?
So that helped, and that's been doing like well. Like,
okay, good.
Other than that, I don't really have any pain, other than like my ribs and stuff are still healing. So like they're still pretty sore.
And
when
your
I,
scars,
do stuff.
they look good to me. Like like on your face, like I feel like, I mean, like obviously, like I see that you have scars, but they're like, I don't know, like they're not bad at all, I feel like.
Thank you.
I think they look good. Pretty badass, if you ask me.
Thank you.
Like,
this one's kind of like in the shape of like a half a heart.
Yeah, I see
if you like look at it.
Yeah.
So I like to say it's like a heart from her.
Right.
Yeah. So I think it's cute. I like it.
And if like, you know, they have so many things now too, that if like down the road, if you decided I think they can do like laser treatments and stuff like that to fade scars. You know what I mean? Or you keep it if you want to keep it, whatever you want. Yeah. You know what I mean? Like
I've always had like a bunch of scars, and like I had this scar on my forehead when I was like 2.
Yeah.
So I'm like, whatever, I'm used to it.
Right.
So
and honestly, it's all part of our story, and you know, this is just like our outside shell.
Yeah.
Like, you know what I mean? Like, and the most important thing is your health, and that you're, you know, alive and well, and that's That's what's so important about everything. And then as far as the prosthetics go, have you had any luck with like finding?
So I have one currently, and it's a hook.
Okay.
So it kind of goes on my arm, and I have like a whole strap that goes over here.
Okay.
And when I move my shoulders forward, the hook opens like this and then closes.
Has that been like a lot more helpful? Like, you don't care for it?
I don't really care for it, honestly.
Right, like I almost feel like it would be more like to think about than if you just
I use it for sure and try to like do my activities and stuff like doing it, because obviously I want to try it out and like see if it's helpful, because I want the extra like assistance when I'm doing things, but it just doesn't give the type of help that I'm looking for.
Yeah. Are they like making anything kind of newer?
So they have like robotic hands, obviously, that like move in a crazy way. They actually put electrodes on the inside that pick up your nerve signals, and that's how it moves.
Yeah, that's crazy.
So I want one of those, but it's like a whole thing. Like I'm still new.
Okay.
I have to like get used to the hook prosthetic first and using it, because a robotic hand is like 15 pounds. And my arm is very weak still. And like recovering.
So it's kind of like steps that you have to go through. Okay.
So I just kind of have to like get used to it and practice using it, and just like honestly work out, go to the gym, or just
that
like,
would be so cool though. Like if something like that could work out, because then it's almost like you have that function back in a way. Because I feel like that would definitely be better than the hook.
Yeah, because it's definitely like, more functional. Okay. And I like the look of it more too, because it like, not that they look like an actual hand. They're usually like black or something, but and they look like a whole like robotic, like it looks like a robot thing. Like I don't know, it's cool. It looks like Iron Man kind of thing, but I'm excited. Hopefully. Yeah. They said like maybe within like 6 months. Okay. That could be something.
Yeah, that would be really, really cool.
Yeah.
For sure. But no, I mean, like I said, I just can't believe how recent it all is. And like, I just feel like, and like I said, I can't express enough, because I've seen, I've talked to a lot of people in the show that are like very new in their recovery and journey, and then very, very deep in. And once again, people handle things in all different types of ways, but like I can't express it enough. I feel like the courage that it takes to come on here and just lay it all out there and be like, this is what I went through, and keep yourself kind of like together, is like, it says a lot about you. And it says a lot, I think, that you even right now you were wanting to talk about it, because I think sometimes too it's like something that comes over time. You're like, oh, I guess like I'll talk about this, but like I feel like, in my opinion, in a way, it could be like therapeutic for you. Yeah. To be like, okay, like I go to therapy, and it's obviously, it's kind of like, it's obvious something happened to me, because like it's like a reminder. Your arm's a reminder in a way, and like, but I don't think it's a bad thing. Like I think that it's like you turn these things into the most positive that you can, and it reminds you constantly of like you said, like the things that you do have and the things that you can be grateful for, which is like, I feel like it can be very easily lost in translation when you just like, when we're going through the motions of life is quick, life is fast. Like we sometimes forget, and like you said, take little things for granted, like putting our hair up and things like that. And it's like, for a moment when something happens to us that is very serious, we lose somebody or we lose some sort of ability on our own, it's kind of like the world stops and you're like, wait a second, like, the world is a lot different than if you're just like kind of going when your wheels are just like nonstop. Yeah. So it gives you a different perspective. But I think that it's important to have that perspective, obviously not in that kind of, situation, but it gives you a very different perspective on life. And I think helps you helps you relate to all different types of people that have been through something.
I feel like I definitely am never glad that something like this happened, but I'm glad like I don't take like anything for granted anymore. Like I'm glad that I was not taught like a lesson, but I guess essentially is like taught a lesson and like
right. I know it's like a weird way. It's like, how do you really word it? You can't like word it right.
I don't know how to word it in the best way possible, but like, I don't know. I think it was like a good thing. And like, definitely now, like I spend a lot more time with people, or I spend a lot more time with my family than I did, or I don't know. I like to travel more. I like to do more things that actually make me happy, or
I think it just all comes down to that perspective. Like it changes your life. And like, obviously it changes your life in negative ways, but it also can change your life going forward in a positive way to make you like realize new things. And like I said, spread awareness about so many different parts of your story that I think could just help people. Because, you know, accidents and losing people that are close to us and everything in between, they're very common. You know, they're dark and they're negative and there's horrible and sad and heartbreaking. So I think that it's something that like we don't always want to talk about, but it happens and it's scary, and it's a good reminder for people to just like slow down a little and remember how precious and fragile and short life can be, and that you just need to like you said, like just kind of like pause and take it in and like spend time with the people you care about, because you really don't know. Shit can change so fast and it's terrifying. Yeah. It's really, really scary.
It is. Unfortunately, it happens every day to people. Like accidents happen literally every single day. So just slow down. Enjoy life. Like you'll get there when you get there. Like it's never that big of a hurry or a rush or an emergency, or it's always just calm down, slow down, and spend time with the people that you love, and do things that actually like make you happy and make yourself happy, like, because that's all that matters at the end of the day, I feel like.
I agree. Yeah. For sure. Yeah. But you did amazing. Seriously. Yeah. And honestly, thank you so much for driving out here and coming. It means a lot to me. You did such a good job.
Thank you.
Really, you should be proud of yourself. How do you feel? Do you feel better?
Yeah.
Okay, good.